Hey folks, we're back from IMEX America today. I've got Alex Plaxton joining me, and with us we have Mark Cooper, who is the CEO of ICA, which I always mispronounce. Did I get it right today?
So we're IAC.
Oh God, see, like I always do it wrong, and I knew it. I looked at it before we went on.
Rhymes with kayak. That's all you have to remember.
No, I'm never going to forget it now. No, but it was great because I was actually sitting in on this fascinating session that you did yesterday talking about trends and event space and all these different things, but it wasn't just the room that you were talking about. It was really the venue and in particular the food.
Absolutely. All elements of a meeting.
And you've got a lot of research around that. So can you tell us a little bit high level what that looks like and why it's important to event professionals?
Oh, absolutely. Well, the two foundational elements that make food and beverage critical, in my view, is one, it's the glue that knits an event together. It can also be the bomb that blows it apart as well, because when it goes wrong, delegates love nothing more than to talk about, a awful food and beverage experience. So we don't want that distraction, right?
Right.
Okay.
I know nothing about that.
Alex and I have literally been living on the road together for the last 3 or 4 weeks, and he's recently been diagnosed gluten-free.
Yeah,
have you really?
Yeah, 3 weeks ago, before heading on the road for 5 conferences. So of course, didn't register as gluten-free at any conference I was attending. So I'm like, hey guys, I'm gluten-free now.
Well, the good news is that hopefully the day is coming soon where gluten-free becomes an inclusive part of menu planning. So remember those days where we stopped giving information about, vegetarianism because we provided that as standard. We are so close to gluten-free being a part of our everyday menus, so it no longer is an exceptional request. So, Alex, life should be a little bit easier for you. Yes. But when we look to the food and beverage as well, we were talking about everything is still related and pointed to creating exceptional meeting experiences, right, Lindsay? And there's nothing better than food and beverage to be able to do that. It has the chance to pique all 5 of our senses, and the more of the senses that we trigger, the more chance we've got of creating a memory for delegates. So food and beverage, quite rightly, when I'm running sessions, becomes one of the main areas that meeting professionals are dealing with. Mm-hmm. Needs, challenges as well, and of course the venues are doing so also, because as our needs grow, as those lists go from just a few names to sometimes up to 50% of the participants are giving dietary information to their meeting professionals, that's got to be taken, adapted and translated into a solution by the venues, and it's not easy today. It's tough. The personalization of food and beverage means that there's a lot more work's got to go into managing that.
And there were 2 really big aha moments for me. One was he ran this incredible kind of collaboration piece in which he had the room identify based on the kind of food that you like and the ones that you think your attendees like. So are you like barbecue? Are you like French cuisine? Are you a Michelin? And what was the other one? A food truck.
Street food.
Yes.
Street food. You ask this question. It's a great party question to ask. If what type of food best describes your family,
right?
And the street food one's good. That's a great one. And in fact, every time I ask it, the majority of the audience say, I akin my family more to like street food style of food. So we're risky, a little bit on edge, like to get down to earth, but we like a few surprises as well.
But see, as event professionals, we hate surprises. And when you do that, I think if you would take it and you would give it to a group of event professionals instead of describing their family, but rather describing their attendees, do you think, Alex and Mark, that it would be more on the high maintenance? Because I don't know where we are, because I don't believe we think we're high maintenance about it, because like you said earlier, we're so close to vegan and gluten-free just being run-of-the-mill. But at almost every event Alex and I have gone to, it's been a struggle for him to find food, or they have excluded him into a separate part of the convention center even to have access.
Pick up my meals.
Yeah.
And I think we don't give our attendees enough credit. I think if you think about our normal eating habits, I attended an event in Florida a couple weeks ago where the lunch was not plated. There was a bar and it was burrito bowls. And you could pick your own ingredients to put in the bowl and everything. And if you were a vegetarian, build your own. And it's like, we all go to Chipotle every day and do this. Like why wouldn't you be okay with that type of experience at your event. You don't need a big sit-down meal to enjoy a meal. And the food was great. And they also had, lobster rolls and things like that for other people. And so I think, to your point, I think we don't give our attendees enough credit that they could enjoy something that is a high-end version of something like street food.
Right. And the ability to be able to build just what you want on the day, the way you want it, with the right amount of mix of ingredients.
Right.
That could be down to personal preference, your dietary needs on that day or that week. You're absolutely right. And Alex, I'm kind of picturing the conference that you went to. I bet they were quite small bowls as well. So as a comparison to large steel chafing dishes that you get in so many conferences still, which, to be honest with you, they should only really be used in prisons. From this day onwards, but small bowls, in terms of being able to do that, not only are they more attractive, but actually, and they give you the option to personalize your meal experience, but also now you've got that clear link between sustainability, the fact that we can replenish smaller bowls more quickly and reduce the amount of waste. So when we scale it down, you leave that buffet area with minimal amounts of food left over, and your delegates actually feeling good instead of bad about that experience. It's so important. We've gone from moving, when we look at, we looked at facilities and the meeting rooms, about providing different seating styles, so that people can, gravitate to the style of seat that they feel more comfortable with. Food and beverage is exactly the same, and that's why that concept is so popular. It's also really popular as well because, although you didn't touch upon it, I think it's an important point. What we have to do during meal break times is not just eat food.
No.
It is about connecting with the office, connecting with your family, building strong, powerful relationships. And if that formal sit-down luncheon, that we've all been to too many of those in our time, becomes a common standard, it blows away the opportunity to be able to do that. So it's important from a number of different factors.
And I think it's also the experience factor too, right? Like getting to go up and get your burrito bowl and pick through the items and make your own meal, and then pick your table you want to sit down at. And if you had to make calls, guess what? The food's still going to be out there 30 minutes later when you come in. You didn't miss the salad portion. They didn't already take the salad away. You don't have to ask anybody for a special, meal or anything. It's an inclusive experience. And to your point, something you mentioned earlier, this whole 5 senses and creating memories, it's a science. Like there's actual science to long-term memory, and food is one of them, and it's the 5 senses. So I think that experience factor is important as well.
So in our last couple of minutes, the other aha I wanted to kind of touch on, you were talking about how, the event planner and the venue, we both share a responsibility. And one of the things you said really stuck with me about the fact that we want these incredibly custom menus, and then we run out of time as event professionals. And so it falls to the venue. So what is the one takeaway that you would encourage, both on the venue side, but also the event planner side, so that we could better come together and help each other lift that load to create these impactful experiences that keep our attendees coming back and creating those memories while also creating the connections for the conference?
I think if I was to give just one tip, Lindsay, it is don't leave these sort of discussions between the venue and the meeting professional until 1 week out or 2 weeks out, because we're still doing it, and yet we then expect the venue to come up with these magical bespoke creations. And they're living in the moment, and they're trying to deliver the solution to their suppliers, to be able to cater and prepare 1 week out. So if you do want those magical creations, and you want time and you want to share some ideas between the venue, between, 1 or 2 of your delegates that you know and trust, do this a longer time out, because your results will be much stronger for both parties.
It's not only do it in time, but treat them like a partner, right? Because
Give
they're
them the
there
respect.
in the trenches with you.
Absolutely right. And they want to do a great job as well.
Right. Well, Alex, this is one of those things where I know you and we keep talking about it, keep looking. So Mark, thank you for the research, and again, for making time. We've got more great content coming, guys. We'll see you back in just a flash. I can't use the words anymore. Live here at IMEX America.